Hi, everyone. So I was told as one of my comments from the viewers that I need to talk faster. And so today you're going to get that wish because I am cooking and I wanted to get this out. So I listened to Carlos King's interview with, oh gosh, Tamala, whatever, whatever. That shows you how much I am invested in and her storyline because her storyline is pretty sketch. And I know a lot of people have criticized to see if she's actually, let me see if it pulls up. A lot of people have been asking like if she actually is legit. And I like if her storyline is actually legit, and I really can't uh I can't really assess if her storyline. She's claiming that her and her dude are actually legitimately are together and no and everybody cares about her relationship more than she does. I think she doesn't mean it that way. I think she means people care about the status and what people evaluate of her relationship. And then the one takeaway that I do like is that how she begins to explain how the accusations that she's sleeping with her that she's in a relationship with her manager did kind of affect her real life, whereas her boss was calling her up, like, what is going on? And is this really true? Kind of the thing. So I thought that that was really useful and nice to bring up that there's consequences to the accusations that are made up on this show. Let me see if I get the name. Tambra. Okay. But as a whole, I really don't. I just kind of walked away from the interview. Anyway, so let's talk about Belle Collective because that's what we're here for. Belle Collective episode 4, season 3, episode 4. So here's what we got. JJ's mom drives up with her Corvette with the bags in the car. I was like, okay, so this has to be staged because there's zero possibility that a woman with a Corvette is going to be just driving up with all that she owns in the car. Like that just seems so ridiculous and so far-fetched. Or is she only going to stay here for the season? So she is explaining to her son what is actually legit going to happen, right? So like I get up every morning at 4:30 to 5:30 for my coffee and I needed to percolate. And it's interesting because so Gucci's having an entertaining time watching his mom regulate on him and what she is and what she's not going to tolerate. And they both say before his mom gets there, he tells Soguchi that it'll all work out. And his mother throws that same line back into his face saying it'll all work out. And he don't look like it is. He don't look all that happy. He thought that in his head that having your mom live with you is a great idea. But in actuality, having your mom live with you is a bit much. And it seems like she don't need to be living with you, but that's not my business. Latrice and Cliff are at dinner talking about boundaries. I'm gonna say this. Latrice does look like a battered woman. She also looks like someone who is constantly crying. Like she is in constant pain dealing with this man. And I don't know, and I know that she keeps saying that she don't want a divorce. And I'm not advocating that you run out here and get a divorce, but I am gonna say that you don't look happy. You look absolutely miserable. And there's only going to be so long that you could be sleeping in a different room from your husband. Like that's not, on a day-to-day basis. That's a very strange marriage. It's not, I mean, you could stay in a marriage like this, but is that really what you want? And I still can't get over the fact that she's highly considering work. She keeps saying, we need to work on this before I have a baby. Ma'am, you don't want a baby, and that's perfectly legit and okay. And by the way, who would want a baby by somebody that's 20 years older than them? And, that is just doesn't, and all he wants to do with this baby is to keep you trapped. Like this baby's going to keep you in the house. I mean, that's the goal of you having a baby. It's not because he loves babies. He got grandkids. Anyway, so she wants to apologize to him, get this, for going out to Bar without telling him. Fine. He's upset that he's upset with her because he kicked out Josh and the next day she goes out with Josh and he feels like you're going behind him and hanging out with the enemy. So now Josh is the enemy. So I'm wondering like if he's okay with her employing the enemy. I mean, that's essentially something that she's going to have to contend with. Josh, sir, you need to find another job because your days are numbered with your job, and I think that you should know this. He claims that she's not a supportive wife, and because a supportive wife would not be going out with Josh, fine. And so now he's going to be choosing your friends. Gotcha. And then she's talking about how we want, she thought that she's equal to him. And he's like, yeah, you're not my equal. I'm the one that put you in the position to help you become who you are. Um, I don't see how you can change someone's perspective on this. And Latrice she hangs out with her mom and they bond over cooking. And her mom is like, look, I want you to be more confident. Latrice is talking about how she's afraid to leave um, her husband. And mom's like, look, you are really trying to convince yourself that you're good, but you're not good. And it's just a matter of time. And I think the mom is right in the sense that she needs to give her daughter the time and space to come to this conclusion on her own. Hers, she's giving her just enough nuggets for her to be like, look, this ain't it. But she's not ready to hear this ain't it. And her mom is fully aware of that. Her mom's gonna be happy when she leaves. Glenn and Cliff go out for dinner and Glenn is talking about how happy he is that his wife is like becoming her own person and he's seeing her glow up. It's just that it doesn't seem like you want to be with me anymore, and that's the problem. He thought that everything was going to be chill and good and copacetic between the two of them after the DNA test dropped, and that he wasn't the father. The problem that I have with this is that there shouldn't be a possibility that it was your kid. Y'all have been together before this baby would have came in, and I know that the baby's not a baby; it's a child, or an older child. But you were with him before, and you stayed with him after. And even though he claims that he didn't know that the kid was his this entire time, I get this, and then didn't know the existence of the kid the entire time. But the issue is that you are acknowledging that you had sex with her. And that is the issue that she has, not the fact that, ooh, it ain't my kid. She should be happy. No, no, no. You had sex with her that gave you the possibility that the kid is yours. Like, I don't understand how men don't get that 1 + 1 = 2. Anywho, I digress. Cliff was talking. Okay, so then he talks about how he's been listening to her conversations because this boy put a recorder in the car and a tracker on the truck. Now I know that his wife mentioned that last week, but I couldn't understand what she was saying because it wasn't clear. But now we get a clear picture. Here's the thing. Glenn is not necessarily my type. Actually, none of these men are people. None of these men are my type. But I can understand Glenn has a kind of swag that is attractive. So I can understand how people are attracted to Glenn. Out of the other men, he is the more attractive out of them because he has swag that is attractive, not necessarily, which makes his looks, which enhances his looks. Okay. But the more you get to know him, the more you're like, oh, so you're a controller. Oh, this is great. You've moved beyond controlling to um I don't want to call anyone abusive outside of Cliff, but I mean you doing too much. Recording my conversations, a tracker on my car, you're doing too much. That is crazy. And the fact that he thinks that this is legit and that's okay, and the fact that Cliff thinks that this is okay, I'm like two crazy fools sitting up here talking to each other, and then Glenn's talking about how he's trying to stay faithful, but it ain't gonna last too much longer because he's sitting up there like, um, he's sexually frustrated. Cliff's talking about you should put on a dress. Now, I had to stop, rewind, listen to it again because I was like, what in the heck does putting on a dress have to do with the price of tea in China? I don't understand why putting on a dress is what is putting on a dress supposed to do? And he still said it and I rewinded it, listened to it again. I had to listen to it 3 times to be like, what am I supposed to get out of putting on a dress? And Clint was looking at him crazy too. And he's like, I'm not putting on a dress. He's like, well, don't look in the mirror. He's like, I'm not putting on a dress. I'm like, if that's what's gonna rock her boat. Rock whose boat? But what dress? I don't want to see Glenn in a dress. And I believe that his wife does not want to see him in a dress. Anyway, Cliff tells him that JJ told him to leave his wife. And Cliff was like, look, you need to get a backbone. I was like, JJ and Cliff are not two people to go to for advice about your wife. So just go make that go somewhere. Glenn's talking about he's going to go to the studio to make a song for his wife. So, and then JJ comes to the studio, and all these fools in the studio talking about this is a hit. I'm gonna have to listen to it because the amount of songs that we've heard so far, it ain't a hit. It ain't it. It ain't a hit. And y'all are lying to this man. Look, you cheat on me. You're tracking me. You're recording me. And you think that making a song is going to turn me on? Yeah. So then Glenn goes to his wife to talk about his grandmother, and they sit here and have this whole moment that he's about to be in hospice. Fine. I feel sorry for him. I hate, like when my grandmother died 20 years ago, it still hurts. So I get that. Um, we have Akeisha Marie Soguchi. They meet, and they pretty much are talking about the drama that's happening with each other. So Gucci with her mom, his JJ's mom moving in, Letitia and Marie, and so Gucci is talking about what was going on with Letitia and how Glenn pops up. I do love Akeisha. Honestly, Akeisha's becoming the one that I'm liking the most because Akeisha and Marie. Because Akeisha's like, who mama? Like her little comments are hilarious. Anyway, Akeisha's talking about Latrice and then talking about the party that's happening. Marie's like, I ain't going to no party. I'm not mad at her. And I appreciate Marie by saying, look, I'm gonna keep that same energy. I ain't like you yesterday, I ain't liking you today, and I ain't liking you tomorrow. So you're not gonna get me to just show up to your stuff and watch her probably show up because she's under contract. But I appreciate her energy. Anyway, Akeisha meets with Grandstand, which I'm gonna be honest, I had to rewind this also a few times because I was like, I'm not understanding with who and what and where. So she begins to explain that her father had a child with another woman outside of the woman that he was with. So her mother was the side woman. I'm trying to be respectful here. And her bio and this woman gave up her child for adoption. And her father, um, had a sister, and her father's mother and her father's sister was like, we're going to take this child in. And so her mother ended up with this adopted child, was being raised by his sister. I don't understand the timeline because clearly I think that she was probably in adoption for a while before she was taken to his sisters. And then she gives this vivid memory about being in church and he sees her and he starts crying. I don't know, this sounds very country. It sounds like a movie. Like anyway, but I love it. And so they're getting into tears over this. I do love her grandstand. She comes in, she's like, because she's going to Italy. So talking about all the businesses, and she's like, well, she's like, I'm going to inherit all of this. And she's like, yeah, but you're not going, she's like, we're going to make it lean. She's like, yeah, we're not selling anything. Um, they talk about the Ferris Street development and and she's giving her all the information about what she needs to do while she's gone. And I just think that it was a very touching moment. And I think that the moment here that she's trying to reiterate, as touching as this moment is, it's really I don't want to say a dig, but it kind of is. It's really a dig to um like Lakeisha, and well, I don't know if she's trying to necessarily dig because they're cool. But see, if you go back to season one, and the premise of season one was that they're supposed to be revitalizing season one and season two, right? It's to revitalize Ferris Street. And Akeisha did this whole thing last year. She's like, look, y'all talking about revitalizing Ferris Street. Well, my family owns a lot of Ferris Street, and y'all still talking, we gonna do. And so people felt it was really pompous about how she did it. She's very professional for sure. And she was much more professional than because Lakeisha seems to be, um, they don't seem to be as completely understanding of what it means to be in development as much as she does because she's been raised in this environment in another way. And so she had a trouble last season with these women because they first thought it was like, okay, it's colorism because she looks this way. She feels like she can act this way. And then when they get to know her, it's like, nah, she acts this way because her family has fed into her this nurturing that you are a really top of the line kind of, you come from this really good start, really good history, and we are going to pour into you. So she has this very air of confidence that some of the other ladies don't have because of their upbringing in the same, they weren't raised in entrepreneurship spaces like Akeisha was. And so therefore, and yeah, I get colorism does play a role into this, but her self-evaluation of who she is, I don't think is based on colorism. It's based on how her family raised her to be this boss. And these other ladies are trying to kind of figure this out. And instead of kind of listening to her and trying to get more mentoring about what it would be like to be this boss businesswoman, they feel more threatened. And seems like she's not even dealing with them anymore. She's like, we're doing Fair Street by ourselves. We kind of excluded you out the business. And it seems like they all kind of, good with that because it seems that they probably use this for a storyline. And she's like, nah, I'm doing this legit for real. For real, for real. So I thought it was I still like Belle Collective, but I do still say collectively that Carlos has the most toxic man on his shows. Belle Collective, Love and Marriage Huntsville, and Love and Marriage DC. That being said, I gotta go back to cook because I am hungry.